Hello and welcome to week 3, the middle of the month. How has it been? How has May been for you? How has it responded to your plans and your initial goals? Thank you so much for joining again. My name is Mavi Okoro and thank you for clicking on play. Please subscribe so that you will be the first to know when we drop a new teaching video. So welcome to week 3 of our masterclass, a parenting masterclass on identity. Today we're going to look at this teaching your child identity from a different perspective. So I'll be reading from Romans chapter 4 verse 17. I'll read from the New Living Translation and then from the King James Version. This is what the scriptures mean when God told him, I have made you the father of many nations. This happened because Abraham believed in the God who brings the dead back to life, who creates new things out of nothing. And then King James Version says, as it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations. Excuse me. Before him whom he believed, even God who quickened the dead and called those things which be not as though they were. So today we're going to look at calling the things that be not as though they were in teaching identity. In week 1, we shared very briefly, about how our identity is rooted in Christ. In week 2, we linked it to teaching our children how to be confident. In week 3, today we're going to teach identity as it relates to self-awareness, knowing who they are. And a sense of self, not in such a way as to bring them down. If you don't learn how to balance teaching who a child is, you will teach them from the standpoint of the negative angle, not from who they are, who they ought to be. For example, I recently learned from my coach, my beloved coach and mentor, when she said that you can either say that you have OCD, which is obsessive something disorder. What's the full meaning of OCD? OCD meaning, I think it's obsessive compulsive disorder, something like that. Yeah, OCD meaning, yes, obsessive compulsive disorder. And this is supposed to be a disorder, right? Because you like to get things everywhere neat, looking good, and then suddenly you have a disease. Instead of saying that the child has OCD, call the things that be not as though they were. They are gifted for organization. They are gifted for ensuring that things are done decently and in order. They are gifted for excellence. They are gifted for, call the things that be not as though they were. So in today's episode, we're going to learn how to call the things that be not as though they were. Why is this important? In a journey for self-awareness, in a journey for living an identity, you need to know yourself. Aristotle, the great legendary philosopher, said, man, know thyself. Man, know thyself. And I think it's important to know yourself because that's the way to start to knowing yourself is actually understanding your identity and then finding out how that identity plays out for you personally. And let's link it to our children and to our parenting. Knowing who they are helps them to also understand themselves. That we are all children of God. We have different talents. You might be a singer, I might be the talking one, the other may be the one ensuring that the things work well, at the background, but we are all from the same family. So you need to know yourself. But in knowing yourself or in teaching them to understand who they are, it's not in emphasizing the negative or dwelling in it. I hear people say, this is who I am. I am naturally angry. This is who I am. That's not the purpose of knowing who you are. The purpose of knowing who you are is to understand the roots and the things that in the negative parts. First of all, you start with positive. Knowing your positive aspect, knowing the positive part of you, knowing the things that make you who you are, right? And then also knowing the things that your weaknesses, the things that are not really so cool, and why. This is a question that we really don't ask ourselves. So why do I get uncomfortable about speaking up? It might be that as a child you were conditioned to shut up, to keep your mouth shut. So if you know yourself to that extent and you're able to trace that history, you begin to make you begin to make things right. Now that is for you as a parent. Now, talking about parenting, talking about raising your child, teaching them to walk through who they are, not to knowing themselves, not because you want to give them an excuse to misbehave, but because you want to give them an opportunity or a platform to narrow or to streamline who they are, their natural tendencies, so that they can be good people, they can be completely correct and consecrated. Yes. So you are teaching them to be to understand themselves. Okay, so I have 3 children. My first child is a creative, right? So it doesn't mean that he doesn't talk or he doesn't relate with other children or speak his mind when he needs to speak, but he expresses himself more on paper, drawing, and imagination. His imagination is crystal clear. You can almost see his mind from the way he speaks, because he speaks in creative words. So as a parent, calling the things that be not as though they were helps me when I'm praying for him. I'm praying and I'm calling out that creative gift, and it also helps me when I assess his education or his academics, how he's doing. It also helps me to know the kind of things, the trainings and the kind of opportunities to expose him to, or to allow him to walk through, by himself, so I can discover himself more. So when he's creative, for example, I'm making a mess, I don't term it a mess. Okay, I term it as a way of him letting out things in him. So I'm calling the things that be not as though they were. So I'm seeing, in place of that mess, I'm seeing a great creative. I'm seeing a creative who is going to do great things with his gifts. My second child is very physical and also very, very opinionated. Okay, and it's easy for you to shut him down, especially when he's asking you questions. I remember, and he sees himself as defender, as the one who looks out for everyone. He looks out for his older brother, he looks out for his younger brother, and yes, he looks out for me. Okay, I remember one time in December that my husband drove my car. I was sitting in front. He drove my car to go and pick them up. So as soon as he picks them up from grandma's house, I was sitting in front. He goes in, good afternoon, Daddy. How are you? Oh, fine, thank you. Why are you driving my mother's car? Blunt. And he goes, I'm sorry, she was the one that gave me permission to drive. Oh, okay, I understand that. And this boy was not even up to 5 at that time. It's easy for you to kill him, but it's also easy for you to call the things that be not as though they were. He is not the kind of person that you can shut down. If he doesn't understand, you better explain it to him. You better talk to him about it. Trying to shut him down will definitely not do the work. So for him, I understand that he is a defender. So there's something in him that, like justice, being a strong person, so this, when I'm praying for him, I pray for him along those lines. I pray for him that God will also, as he's taking up other people's pains, as he's talking about other people, or he's trying to defend other people, that he too will also be defended. That he will rise and be among, people, the judges, the governors, okay? You see that calling the things that be not as though they were is actually a parenting principle. I'm telling you. So when you're praying for your child, you're calling the things that be not as though they were. And this is from a self-awareness point of view, based on their identity, first of all in Christ, and then who they are naturally. My last child is a teacher. I can even say it. I recognize the teaching strength because I'm also a teacher. We share that. So when he comes to me and he wants to teach me, even when I'm busy, I don't shut him down. I don't say, please go, I'm busy, please go, I'm working. No, I allow him to teach me because I want him to develop the confidence, teaching people. He goes, okay, what color is this? And I say green. He said, no, this is not green, this is something sea green or something like. My God, I just learned about green when I was growing up. Nobody taught me about sea green or grass green, please. But he knows it and he's willing to teach me, and I'm willing to learn. And I'm calling the things that be not as though they were. I'm praying for him. So in understanding, in teaching them self-awareness, in teaching them to know who they are, it is important that you're not trying to teach them who they are from the standpoint of making excuses, but from the standpoint of aligning that character about them and ensuring that you speak into their lives, and also give them opportunity to reorientate what they are doing so that it becomes to God's glory, so that they are complete, they are correct, and they are consecrated. I do hope you've learned something from today's episode. Don't forget to join the conversation in your small group, take down lessons, and ask your questions. I will also be there to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you. Subscribe, share, comment, and just come back for week 4. Thank you, and have an amazing week.